If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. Kenny Mayne here, and his headset is far too loud. Wow.
Welcome to the show.
Well, I got to get your mic up where it belongs.
All
Hey, are you new to broadcasting?
No, usually we're sticking up our shirts.
Just checking, man. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm happy.
Happy. Good. I'm happy that you're here.
I'm happy to be here. I'm playing flag football. What, is this live? Is this taped?
No, it doesn't matter.
You never know.
It's live the first time we hear it.
Whatever
Sure.
day it is, Wednesday, the real Wednesday, I'm playing flag football. Shadow Mountain High School in Phoenix. Wounded Warriors, I'm on their team, as is Snoop Dogg, and we're playing against ex-NFL players.
Very cool.
Let's see. You played football. You do the horse racing thing. You're kind of a funny guy from time to time, and you dance a little too, from what I remember.
I was awful at that. But the girl, Andrea Hale's her name. They never had her back, by the way. She made me do too much. I said, give me like easy something that I can master and look like I have a clue. She's like, no, we're going to go over there, and then you're going there, and you have to twist me. And I was like running around the room trying to catch this girl. In fact, I blew off one move on purpose. I just like threw it away and got back to my first spot. But it was fun. And then Jerry Rice and I and Len Goodman, the judge, we then subsequent to that did like a fake sports cast called Dance Center. We did it for several years. And they just called yesterday. We're going to do it again in the next season because it's their 10-year anniversary.
Well, the year you were on, Stacy Keebler was on. Stacy was an intern of mine in Baltimore at WNST.
Love Stacy. She's a good girl. And Jerry Rice was on. Drew Lachey was on.
He could dance.
He was good.
Yeah, I watched that season because so many of you, I knew you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the one year I said that my wife loves the show, and Bruno Tonioli, man, you have no moves. You're no good.
Bruno hated me.
Yeah.
I think they didn't like my defiance because in rehearsal, as a joke, we were faking the judge, where to stand, and who are you guys to judge me? Like, you get that, right? They're
you
judges.
were a little stiff.
Yeah. They're judges.
Yeah.
The joke being, and it pissed him off. So when it came time to really judge me, he just murdered me. It was bad.
Was there anything about your athletic background that helped you at all in dancing? It certainly helped Heinz Ward. I had Heinz sitting here a little while ago.
I'm not very uncomfortable doing anything like putting myself out there, but dancing.
Really?
I never had much confidence. I just had like the kind of step in move thing going.
I watched it. It was rough.
I have rhythm.
I'm not going to judge you, but it was rough.
I have rhythm. Give me any Stevie Wonder song, I'll play the drums to it. But dancing not my thing.
Right.
But they paid money, and I took the money. That's why I did it.
I want to talk horse racing with you because that's your love, right?
I was just at the National Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas. At the Breeders' Cup, I did the speaking at their big event, their party, and instead of paying me, they put me in their tournament. That was the payment. And I finished 9th in this big tournament, 300-400 people. Won money, got to go to Vegas to win bigger money.
What's wrong with that? Nothing.
But in Vegas, I choked.
You know a little bit about Vegas, so you know your way around.
I went to college there.
Yeah,
went to
absolutely.
UNLV. But I just didn't have it. Everybody who's bet on anything can always do the, if I had, and I got a bunch of if I hads. But really, like there was a horse I loved at 8-1. Last minute, I switched to this other horse. 8-1, he wins, of course.
You're looking for value always, right?
I should have stayed with the 8-1. I went to a lesser number, like a 4-1. Jockey falls off out of the gate. So that was like a definition of how my experience went. I made a few bad choices, but it's funny. I finished like in 315th place out of 500 or whatever I was. But if you hit 2 more races, you're in 33rd place. You just have to hit fake money. It's fictitious bets.
Why did you not do more horse racing over the course? Because I always run into you at the Preakness. I run into you at the Derby. I know what a horse racing guy you are. I mean, you're known for chasing football players around and having fun, and you played the game and all that. But I think horse racing is one of those things that is so fringe at this point. I mean, every day, it's like boxing. Every day, less people are into it, it feels like to me.
It's weird to me because those who a lot of people like to gamble. Vegas seems to stay in business. But I think people don't have the patience for the half hour between race. You got a piece of paper, you got
read
ink
the
on your
form,
hands,
dude.
you got to figure it out. Whereas you can just hit a button and see if you won. And the immediacy of it apparently is a greater attraction than the science of trying to figure it out. I'm way more on the science. I think it's terribly interesting to try to analyze 10, 12 horses. I think this will happen and that's going to happen because that happened. And you got to put it all together. And you're betting against the room. You're not betting against the house. I think it's by far, other than betting at the Seahawks at 9-2 on a future bet, I like horse racing as a great gambling exercise. I think if people give it a chance, if they go to Santa Anita or Del Mar or Saratoga or Keeneland or so many other great
Pimlico.
Pimlico's great in Preakness. It's not the greatest Monday through Friday racing venue because it's a little beat down, but Pimlico, a lot of horsemen and women think Pimlico is like the coolest of the three. All the one barn.
Well,
for the
it's
stakes.
a throwback. It's almost
Absolutely.
like Wrigley Field before renovations
No doubt.
or something
they
like that.
could use a paint job. They need a paint job.
Absolutely.
Still. Looks like a arsenic smelter or something from the outside, but whatever that means.
I won't put that on the air in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
That's all right. No, I love
Kenny Mayne comes to Baltimore, offends everyone.
I love Baltimore. I love the Baltimore people, the food, the hotel. It's all good.
Me.
The experience. The track is beat. The track is beat down. You're starting to ask a different question. The reason why I don't do it, because ESPN killed horse racing. That's why.
Simple as that.
We don't do horse racing. It's dead. No more horse races.
Well,
Zero.
Speaks to how much money can be made. But
NBC and Fox are carrying all the prep races to the Derby. NBC has the Triple Crown and the Breeders' Cup. Those shows rate pretty well, and there's a great popularity. The big ticket ones, America follows it. The Friday racing, nobody. And then the Santa Anita Derby a little bit.
There's an old guy in Vegas somewhere with a hat backwards and half a stogie, and that's who it is.
Kind of, but I think I'm him. I grew up with it. To me, going to the track is the same comfortable feeling that you might say, my uncle used to take me to the old Orioles or
Sure.
whatever your story
33rd Street, sure.
Yeah.
How much fun has it been for you being a Washington guy with the Seahawks
Wow, look
the
at
last
that
couple
camera
years?
move.
I know, that was pretty swift, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
But being a Washington guy with the Seahawks the last couple of years, I mean, how much fun has that been for you personally?
Well, honestly, last year there was this slight did we really do this? Like, there's that wow. And then, but you knew the team was good. Like, there was a point in the season last year, like, we're going to do this. These guys are legit, and they did. They took a tip pass. They went after Sherman. He had his little moment with Aaron, and then once the safety happened, like, I was like, game's over. There's no way Denver was going to handle the rest of the defense if it couldn't handle the opening snap with that teeny crowd yelling, and we're yelling Omaha, and that was fun. But I don't see any such game this time. It could be a last drive type of game. We're going to need a lot of good plays and play at our. When I say we, I mean they.
Sure.
Well, screw
You
it.
could
Well,
say
you're a
I'm
Seahawks
from
fan.
Seattle.
It's all right. You're a Seahawks fan.
That's the funny thing. When I do SportsCenter, like, we slip in our little references, but nobody cares at this point. They all know where I'm from. They all knew Stewart was a North Carolina guy. They all know Greeny's a Mets fan. Like, that's okay.
Why hide
as
from
long
it?
as long as you don't, in a serious story, show favor to one side and unfairly paint one team one way or favor your team another way. That's wrong. We should be journalists to that degree. But otherwise, we're sports fans who happen to get on TV and say silly things as games occur. Like, that's all we're doing.
Yeah, you want to go home to a parade, right?
I think
Everyone in America wants you to go home to a parade because we all hate Belichick and the Patriots. At
I
this
don't
point,
hate
so.
Belichick. Patriots, when I did my pretend football stories you were talking about, the three best teams for me were the Seahawks, obviously, and, there were four. It was Seahawks, Patriots, Green Bay, and Minnesota. Anytime I called any of their PR guys, hey, comedy emergency, our story just died. Can I fly tomorrow? We'll make it up on the way. Yeah, sure, you're welcome to come. Every time. Green Bay.
And there are some teams with no sense
There
of
were
humor,
certain teams we didn't even bother to call because the answer was going to be no. Why waste my breath?
Sure.
right? People offended by your work?
Not offended. They just
Didn't want to participate.
They didn't want to participate because, and I'm sure their players would have wanted to, but it was more from a publicity standpoint. If we do the silly story with Kenny on Wednesday and we get blown out on Sunday,
We weren't taking ourselves seriously.
And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing. If you guys have that kind of problem, you guys have the problem. If you can't focus enough to clown with me for 7 minutes, I need one line,
Right.
1 minute sometimes. But
Is that all written by you? Seriously?
most of it, but I had really good people around me whose names I'm not going to mention because
you don't want to give them.
all sorts. The list is long.
You don't want them to get their name on the paper.
Tom McCollum and Matt Doyle and Ben Weber, a whole bunch of good guys. Martin Kodabashian, he did the crazy one, which we just re-ran just this week because of the Deflategate. I did a story with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers picked the balls for Brett Favre when he was a rookie. So we shot the whole process, how they have like this crazy load of footballs, and Aaron would go, good, bad, good, and he'd feel it.
It's kind of like Willy Wonka, good egg, bad egg.
Well, no, if you play football, and I was a quarterback long ago, I know what a good throwing football feels like in 1 second. Like, screw that ball, that's slippery. This one, too much this, too much. So in a second whether you want to throw that ball, and you only have 12 picks. So 2 hours before the game, or 2 hours 15 minutes, I think it is, And how Bill Belichick did not know that process took place is the one thing I find just beyond belief. He's the most control freaked person. I didn't say that well. He is a control freak beyond most in the league. How he did not know that before every game, his entire coaching career, his quarterback or the backup quarterback went and picked 12 footballs is beyond me.
Even if he wasn't involved in that process, he had to know that process took place.
I guess we'll take his word that he never knew that balls are chosen before games, that they somehow balls come out.
Yet he's also proclaimed to be the guy who
during practice
is
makes
doing
sure they use terrible balls. There you
right,
go.
right.
That's to me the most telling thing about the stories told after whatever this thing is. God love him. Brady's been great to me. I can't believe that they're just out there lying through their teeth. But I also can't believe his story that he didn't know balls were chosen before games.
Right.
They're chosen. There's 12
so
balls.
So are you saying that you might believe they're lying through their teeth? Because I certainly do, and I think a lot of people in America do.
At this point, I don't even care. There's a game Sunday. Whatever the hell they did in the last game, the fact Green Bay kicked a field goal from the 1-inch line, none of it matters. Two teams are playing, and I'm sure they're all happy. It's Wednesday. It's install day. Let's move forward to the game.
Kenny Mayne here, Wounded Warriors, just real quickly on that and your involvement there. We've had the folks, but obviously we're near Walter Reed. There's always something happening there, and every year at the Super Bowl we see these stories of inspiration.
We and my family, we lost my nephew Kyle Farr, who's from Virginia. He had post-traumatic, and he came out when drinking, died in his sleep at age 27.
Oh.
My sister Leslie puts on an event called Race for a Soldier, south of Seattle, south of Tacoma, called Gig Harbor. And we raise money for alternative therapies. That's horse training and dogs and scuba diving, mountain climbing, filmmaking, all these really good things other than drugs that help people reintegrate and get back into civilian life. I was invited to play in the Wounded Warrior game last year and said yes immediately. I'm back this year, and Snoop Dogg's on our team, and we're playing at, I think, 7 o'clock is kickoff.
Stay away. You'll get a contact, but of course it's legal in Seattle.
It is. And,
no big deal there.
You know, it's funny you said it, and it is no big deal. Like, I went to Pearl Jam about a year ago, and Eddie Vedder brought it up. He likes to do his little speeches. He said, you know what, we passed gay marriage and the marijuana law, and anything changed? Like, we're all still doing our I don't even know where a marijuana store is, and I don't care if gay people marry each other or not. Like,
life is still happening.
Let it go. Like, move on. Like, I think the rest of the country is behind us on being a little more enlightened about, you know. I mean, here's this game being sponsored by alcohol, yet a guy has this much marijuana and he's a villain. Like, kind of an incongruity there.
Sure.
With Mayne joining us here.
Let's
Thank you
end
very
with
much,
that.
Let's end with that.
Okay.
Smoke them up in Seattle. There you go. Kenny Mayne joining us here on Radio Road. Super Bowl 49 coverage continues.
And good luck with your wife.
And I hope to see you at our game in Seattle when we come through.
Yes, I'm there.
All right, man.
July 6th.
I don't touch many people. I just touch you. Give me some Purell. You're listening to WNST Towson, Baltimore, WNST.net. We never stop talking Baltimore sports.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.